What's up, guys? This is another Counting Wisdom podcast. I just wanted to go over some more facts about Jesus because we're supposed to get to know our Creator, and I think it's pretty interesting. You know, it's sort of like one of my favorite movies is Prometheus, and it's kind of like finding more about who made the earth and all these great things that are here. So let's just hop into that. Okay, so nearly all scholars agree that Jesus Christ existed. They don't agree on how well the Jesus in the Bible accurately reflects Jesus as a historical figure. Yeah, so that's a classic. Like, everyone has their own opinions about who created the world. And of course, it would only make sense for everyone's questions to be answered. And I think that is the story of the Bible as well. Towards the end of the story, God, he shows up and he answers everyone's question about, who is in charge and who's behind the scene. Kind of like, I think it was the Wizard of Oz, in a way. But okay, most Jews believe that Jesus Christ was not the Messiah and did not fulfill messianic prophecy. They also do not believe that Christ was resurrected or divine. Yeah, I think there are Jews today who do believe in Jesus as the Messiah. And of course, that's a classic in the book of Acts. The whole book is about how some of the Jewish people are kind of in question about who Jesus was. Even in the Gospels, we see that there is a question about, who Jesus was. And that's the whole point of the Gospels, which, a person like I may not have noticed that, or, it's a valid kind of belief. I mean, if you're Christian today, the Jewish people, they are the ones that have offered, through God, but they are the ones that have told the world about the God of Israel. So we're pretty much, sort of indebted not only to just Jesus, but to the Jewish people as well. But anyway, okay, fact number 3. At the time of Jesus' birth, the town of Nazareth only had about 200 to 400 people. In the New Testament, the town is literally as seen in the Bible as, can anything good come out of Nazareth? So, yeah, Nazareth sort of had a bad rap to it, and Jesus, he was a light in the darkness. So, that's kind of a good news if you are going through a bad time. Can anything come out of us when we're in our dark place? Well, Jesus can work in those situations as well. Okay, so Jesus worked as a carpenter from ages 12 to 30, which means for 18 years, Jesus was akin to a day laborer. Wow, yeah, I think I've used that fact before, that, Jesus was a laborer. He was a worker, working with our hands. And even today, I know the New Testament says that we're supposed to work with our hands in some form. And also, it says to just work in general. I don't think you can't be a Christian if your work is kind of like typing on a computer or something. Of course, that's not what it means. Or if you're a broadcaster or a news reporter or something, and you don't really necessarily work with your hands. But that's cool. Let's see. And I guess, of course, to be the downside, there's no real downside, but of course with Jesus, I think, sometimes it's sort of scary. Like, Jesus, he is able to both heal and then kill, or the God of the Bible is able to both heal and kill. So, of course, Jesus is our friend, or anybody's friend. He's friendly, but you can probably have bad thoughts about Jesus when, he's chastising you, or, you've done something bad, which everybody in the world is going to do something bad that Jesus does not like. And so I think that is definitely, to kind of try to understand the person who's not a Christian or an atheist, or, someone who's kind of on the fence about Christianity. Definitely. I know when I was in high school, or in middle school, I wasn't really necessarily even thinking about kind of who created the world at all. I was just kind of in my own thing, pursuing probably sports, or, a social life, or, just whatever a middle schooler would be doing. And so, you can kind of say good things about Jesus all day, and I think the reality as well is, Jesus, he can make himself not seem likable, I guess. Like he is likable. He's the creator, but if we're in the wrong, or if we're having a bad time, we might react in a bad way towards Jesus. And so, not to just, I guess I say all that to say that I don't want to sound like I'm just, I'm talking Jesus up and like everything is peachy. I can understand how, sometimes, people have a question about, who God is and his character. Is he always good, or why are there some bad things happening? And, especially in my life or others as well. And so, yeah. But of course we have to try to fight those bad thoughts. But anyway, some of Jesus' critics in the Bible accuse him of drinking too much wine. Yeah, I think that's just a tactic of people who drink. I hear it all the time. Like, I was just watching a movie yesterday, and the guy was drinking, and I don't know what time it was, but the other character, he's like, hey, isn't it too early for that? And it's sort of just a saying that people do, that, I'm not saying that it's good to do that, but I'm saying that, people definitely kind of, have a saying of like, they're trying to, I guess, I don't know, maybe reassure their own drinking habits, and drinking is just not good for me personally, but I think just for the whole world. Like, yeah, okay, the cool benefit of like maybe if you're going through some pain or something, but there are other ways to deal with that. At this point, alcohol is just not good at all, and so of course, some of Jesus' critics in the Bible accuse of him drinking too much wine. That's just a misrepresentation, of who Jesus is, because, unless you actually measuring and, kind of like, knowing exactly how much Jesus is drinking and things like that, it's not good to judge somebody and come up with a whole conclusion. But of course, for me personally, I've just noticed that drinking has never produced anything good. It just does not mix well with me. And so, yeah. So, we know Jesus is the creator of the world, and we know God is holy. Jesus is holy. He's perfect in righteousness and goodness. And so obviously he wasn't drinking too much unless, he wanted to. And even then, he's not getting drunk. He doesn't break his own rules. He's not a hypocrite. So, yeah. But anyway, the next fact, during his life, Jesus was considered to be a radical because he talked to women, spent time with sinners, and allowed his followers to pick grain on the Sabbath. So yeah, I think back in the day, especially, these days, women and also, minorities, like me being an African American, or, a Latino or someone who is of Spanish descent, and if they're outnumbered by white people or a Caucasian person, not that they're all being racist, but it was taboo for any man to really be talking with a woman unless it was something romantic, I guess, from my understanding of history. And so, Jesus, he made women and he made men as well. So, obviously, who are we to tell Jesus, kind of, he can't talk to a woman or something? Like, that's weird. And especially if we're trying to make Jesus out to be like us. God has already said that he is not like us. Like, he's different. So when he talks to us, it's man or woman or, child or, old person, it's different. It's in a different way. He's not like people. He's not like how we talk, how I would talk to a woman, or, it would be a different way. Yeah, you could probably accuse me of doing something like, hey, I'm trying to, find a wife or something like that, or things like that. And then he spent time with sinners. So yeah, Jesus is sort of a doctor, and not sort of, but he's more than that. But yeah, he's God. So he has to spend time with sinners. He has to also spend time with righteous people. Like, it's not weird, and I think that's when, if Christians, we're like Jesus. We're supposed to be like Jesus, but, we can't just go and try to spend time with a whole bunch of people that aren't living right. God, he's equipped to take on those heavy situations. But, as far as we know, people who are trying to spend all their time with a person who's not a Christian, it's difficult. Not that we shouldn't do it, but yeah. And then he allowed his followers to pick grain on the Sabbath. And yeah, so you can probably get my point is, Jesus, he's the creator. So yeah, he can tell his disciples, he can tell anyone to do anything. And it's going to be holy, it's going to be righteous, it's going to be acceptable to the rules and the standards that he has set before us. And of course, he didn't really break the rules. It was just that the people accusing him were trying to just, come up with anything, and everything that our accuser, he only says half truths. Excuse me. And, when Adam and Eve were at the fruit, tree of knowledge of good and evil, he only said a half truth. It's like mixing the Bible with, something that a secular person or unbeliever would say. And, that's not the whole truth, so, yeah. But anyway, thank you so much for checking into the Counting Wisdom podcast. This episode was kind of like a defense for Jesus, I guess, but he doesn't need a defender. But just kind of like we should keep an open mind, but also we can't scorn what other people say about Jesus as well. We kind of got to listen to them as well. But yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.